All right, we're back on schedule here with the dozer. So I got all ready here to tow this thing. I have taken the liberty of removing the clamp here for the blade. There was just one screw holding that ring on. None of this stuff's greased, which was interesting. But that all came right off. I got the hydraulics disconnected over there for the tilt cylinder. And I think we're ready to pull this thing back. So once it pulls back, I already gave it a little nudge in here, so you can see it's about to fall. So we're gonna go ahead and try to pull it back a little bit. I think hopefully the tractor's big enough to pull this thing back. Otherwise I'll have to get the truck out here, truck and tractor. I need to pull back a little bit and then swing the rear end out, which should be the lightest part of this thing. And then we're gonna try to slowly back it down the hill here. Hopefully it doesn't get away from us. If it does, it should kind of stop over there somewhere, maybe, if we're lucky. Otherwise we'll be really unlucky. And so let's go ahead and get this thing pulled in. I'm gonna kind of stand over to the side here. I don't know if it's really gonna do anything. Okay, this is pulling my truck. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna get the tractor over there with that chain and keep the truck from moving. All right, got the tractor hooked up. Let's give it another shot. I have a suspicion it's still going to pull it since we're pulling it uphill, and the combined weight of my truck and tractor is probably about pretty close to this thing. Let's see here. Oh, it's moving. Yeah, let's get a little closer here. Well, that appears to have worked. So we got it pulled back pretty far here. Now I'm gonna go ahead and try to swing it around, which is gonna be difficult. Normally what I would do here, and I watched back the recovery video and I was actually doing this thing wrong, where I was holding down the brake on one side, but I wasn't pulling the clutch. So you gotta pull the clutches or else the left and right are stuck together. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to pull back both left and right clutches just so the left and right tracks are freewheeling, and then I'm going to try to yank this way to swing the whole thing around. If that doesn't work, I might be able to just winch it directly this way and spin it, because it is on gravel, and when I'm down here I'll be on pavement, which will give me a little bit more traction with the truck. So maybe I'll try that first. And we got the same setup again: tractor, truck, winch, bulldozer. So let's give this another shot. Well, the winch did not work as hoped, so the final plan of the day here is just to give it a couple yanks with the truck here. Just hopefully the shock on the lateral force there will rotate it in place. We'll see. I do have the steering clutches pulled back, or they both pulled back? Yeah, these things might be frozen for all I know, so I'm not placing a lot of stake in that, but hopefully it would rotate in place. I guess we will find out. Well, obviously that did not work. So I guess we're at the stage now where I need to take a break, think about it for a day or two, how I can get this thing to rotate. So after a few beers the other night, this is what I came up with here. You got the same setup over there, but I'm going to try to pull it up onto these boards. Because really the problem is it's not rotating because the grousers are just stuck in the gravel. This gravel is not very tightly packed. So I'm going to pull it up onto the boards, then I'm going to pull it and try to rotate it. And these things should just kind of act like skids. So this isn't the best idea, but it's really kind of the only one I have. So we'll give it a shot. I was just about to start winching on this thing, and then I looked at the spool and I was all the way spooled out. So I just had to back the truck up a little bit. If you've never winched before, you always want to make sure that the red mark is on the spool. Otherwise you risk just pulling the whole rope out, which would not be very safe. So I'm not super lined up perfectly on here, but hopefully this is good enough. That's better. Well, somehow magically this is almost working okay. One issue is that the wood is not moving at all. It's actually kind of miraculous that somehow this works. I hear some water pouring down there. It's always a good sign. There's gravel binding up there, but that's really not that bad. I think we're okay. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna have to move everything, I think, because the angle's not very good. So I'm gonna keep at it here. I think when I'm trying to figure out what to do now, it's kind of in a bad spot where I can't pull it down because it's kind of half over. Well, it's not even going to be over the pavement at all, which I really don't even want it on the pavement. So I think I'm going to go ahead and pull it back. I'm going to put it into neutral, roll it back. I think I need to put my tractor on the other side with a chain just so this thing doesn't start going out of control. Because if it starts rolling, which I really don't think it's going to roll, but safety is like job number 5 here at least. But it'll go ahead. There's really nothing. If it goes down there, it's not the end of the world, but it's not something I'm going to be able to recover. So we'll just for safety, I'll just park the tractor right there with a chain on it, just in case, and then I'll give it a little tug and see what happens here. I'm trying to think what else could go wrong here. I don't know. Not rolling, that's a good sign. It's kind of making me nervous whenever I see something rolling really easily. So it's going to take a while. I don't want this thing to start rolling and picking up speed. So I mean, the grousers will catch, but it takes them a little bit to sink in, especially in this hard dirt. So I want to be careful. So we'll just move maybe 2 or 3 feet at a time. Man, this is pretty sketchy here. It's hard to let me see with the camera here. This is it's not a steep hill, but it's significant. This is making me nervous. Now, this thing just about went over the top of that. Look at that. Well, I guess that grouser would have caught it, but this is just this is nail biting right here for me. Now this is way better, because the worst that can happen is this thing will roll out of control and my tractor will flip over. So that's the best thing that can happen. I bought myself enough space here with the tractor where I'm going to go ahead and give it a little gentle nudge down the hill. Probably clear the winch out of here. So close to being in the shop. Outside right now it's 95 degrees. Inside, thanks to the nice concrete walls we got in here and that it's underground, it's about 75. Much nicer in here. So let's get this thing turned and pulled in here. she's about lined up. I might have actually pulled it a little too far. We'll find out. I'm gonna go ahead and push it with the tractor. Hopefully I can roll it and then get these boards straightened out underneath it, and then just keep rolling it with the boards all the way in here. We'll see. Well, that worked. It almost looks like I knew what I was doing because it came in pretty centered, but that was blind luck, let me tell you, completely blind luck. It was probably like 6 inches free on one side and 12 inches on the other side. It was pretty centered, completely by luck. Anyway, we got it in here. It's on blocks, so that'll actually buy me another 1.5 inches so I can crawl underneath it and it won't tear up the concrete. That's kind of why I was running those underneath as I was pulling it forward. This thing is actually pretty small in here. I mean, if I pulled it back a little bit, I could get to it without this post being here. But I need some space right up here to get the engine hoist over here so I can lift the engine out eventually. I'm hoping my hoist can lift that high. I've only ever used it when I put the new engine in the 240Z there. So I think it'll work. One thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to go grab some lights at Costco, and I'm just going to fill this. I mean, I've always hated this area. There's just one light right here. So I'm just going to fill this whole area with lights. Maybe even put one on the side of these posts just to kind of give some sideways light. But they're those LED shop lights, like what I have like over here, are so cheap now. There's no reason not to. I mean, light is one thing that you can never have enough of in a shop. So anyway, I think I'm done for the night here, and I think this is the end of this video. This is probably going to be a really boring video to watch, but let me tell you, that was a lot of work moving that in here. I mean, you hear a lot of talk about the Egyptians building the pyramids, but can you imagine what those guys could have done with a couple tractors, a pickup truck, and a winch? Holy cow. It's amazing what you can do with these machines if you put a little thought into it. So next video, I am going to go ahead and pull this head off, just see what we're dealing with. And then I'm gonna just start prepping to pull this engine. Hopefully the next video, the engine will be out, and then I can start to work on that. I'm kind of still a little worried. The steering clutches seem a little odd. I suspect that they might be bad. If that's the case, then this is gonna be a way bigger project than I originally thought, but you know, whatever, it's fine. So anyway, stay tuned, and thank you again for watching, if you are watching.